Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andi Nafisa Wibowo. In this video, I would like to present my short analysis of a short movie. The title is The Rich Man Mocks Mom and Son. So in the first slide, there is a content. It has both summary, key characters, and also setting context. First, let me explain about the plot summary of the story. The story follows Rebecca, a single mother who is struggling financially, especially to pay for her son's medical treatment. Her life is difficult and she represents people from the lower social class who are often ignored or treated unfairly. One day, she meets Mr. Gibson, a very rich and powerful businessman. At first, it seems like he is giving her an opportunity by offering her a job. However, behind that opportunity, Mr. Gibson actually has a hidden plan. He wants to use Rebecca as a scapegoat for his company's failing brands in the Northwest so that he can protect his opportunity. Beside Rebecca, there is also another important character, Peter, who is Mr. Gibson's driver. At the beginning of the story, Peter behaves rudely and looks down on Rebecca, just like his boss. This shows how people can be influenced by their environment and social status. And for the setting context, it shows short timelines, a few days in modern urban setting, office building, corporate office, and press conference. Next, let's talk about the conflict. The conflict begins when Rebecca and her son are treated badly by Peter, which clearly shows the gap between rich and poor. The moments make the audience feel sympathy for Rebecca. Then the conflict becomes more serious when Mr. Gibson hires her with hidden intention. Rebecca doesn't realize that she is being scapegoat or being trapped in a manipulative plan, and this builds tension in this story. And now the most important part is the climax. The climax happened during a press conference. In this scenes, Mr. Gibson tries to present himself as a kind and fair person. He talks about equality and says that everyone deserves the same opportunities. However, this is only for his public image, not on his real personalities. Suddenly, Peter interrupts the event and reveals the truth. He tells everyone about Mr. Gibson's real plan and how Rebecca is being used. This moment is very powerful because it completely changes the situations. The truth is finally revealed in front of the public, and Mr. Gibson loses control of the situation, and Mr. Gibson just smiles and doing nothing. After that, we move to the resolution. Because of Peter's action, Mr. Gibson's plan fails and he can no longer hide his manipulation, and he is forced to take responsibility because Peter actions, and also Rebecca is no longer being exploited and justice is achieved. This shows that honesty and courage can defeat power and greed. On the next slide, let's talk about the characters more deeply. Rebecca is the main protagonist. She represents strength, patience, and mother's love. Even though she is in a very difficult situation, she never loses her dignity. She shows that being strong doesn't mean being powerful, but being able to endure struggles. Peter is also an important protagonist because he changes throughout the story. At first, he is arrogant and follows Mr. Gibson's mindset, but after seeing Rebecca's real life and struggles, he begins to feel empathy. He realizes that his way of thinking is wrong, time. On the other hand, Mr. Gibson is the antagonist. He represents corporate greed and social elitism. He believes that because he is rich, he has the right to control others. He treats Rebecca as a tool, as a scapegoat, not as a human being. This is clearly seen when he says, regardless of status, all people deserve equal material benefits. Even though his words sound good, his actions are the opposite. This shows that he is hypocritical and only cares about his image. And another important point in this story is the differences between two approaches. The first is the exploitative approaches. It sounds by Mr. Gibson. There is several points. First is Mr. Gibson believes wealth and status and sees vulnerable people as tools or opportunities like Rebecca, and he hires Rebecca to use her as a scapegoat, not to help. He just focuses on image and reputation, and he shows how power without morality leads to injustice. So Mr. Gibson uses his power and wealth to control others and achieve his goals. He doesn't care about people's feelings or struggles. The second empathy approach, it sounds by Peter. Peter initially influenced by Mr. Gibson, being arrogant at first, but he changed after seeing Rebecca's real condition and struggles. Peter realized that money doesn't define human value. He developed understanding, compassion, and responsibility. He also took a risk to expose the truth publicly and shows that empathy can create change and justice. So, Peter, after understanding Rebecca's situation, he chose to act with kindness and courage. He takes a risk to tell the truth even though it could affect his own positions. This contrast shows that even in the same situations, people can make different choices. One can choose to exploit others or choose to help and stand for justice. And from this story, we can learn several important messages. First, wealth doesn't define a person's worth. Second, kindness and empathy are more powerful than status. And system of power can be challenged by individual moral courage. For the key quote and reflections, Peter said at the press conference, he said, "I've always thought that being rich is the most prestigious thing that you can do in life. But it was Mr. Gibson actually who taught me otherwise. The most important thing in life is being kind." It actually pure by Peter, not Mr. Gibson. It means, reflects Peter's transformation, shows irony that Mr. Gibson teaches the opposite of what he represents, and reinforces the story's control moral about kindness over wealth. For the conclusions, the story presents a moral revolution where power is not defeated by force but by truth and empathy. It reminds us that the real success is not about being rich, but about being a good and compassionate person. Thank you for your attention. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.